Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Popcorn Wind Down. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy.
And this week's episode is brought to you by the hacker, the thief, the grifter, and the hitter. Everyone needs one in their life. The team at Leverage Inc. You don't find them, they find you. And that's really fitting considering this week's episode is all about the Leverage team, where we discuss the second part of their redemption tour. So what did you think about the second part of Leverage Redemption, Tammy? Did it continue to redeem itself or did it fall all the way short?
Was it supposed to redeem itself? Because it's been top dog since it went off screen. So it kept the level that it's always had, I guess. I loved it. Once again, I will continue to say that certain members were missed throughout the series. But I appreciate the fact that they actually came back for at least one episode like they did during the first part of this season. But I enjoyed it. I really did. It was really, really, really good. What about you?
I agree. I think it got better as the season progressed. And then looking at some of the notes from the previous one, it addressed some of the things that we talked about. And then it also started to make a little bit more sense about how they incorporate the characters, especially the new characters, I will say, especially in the second part of the season. And I will say it because I feel like I know we spent a lot of the first time, our first go around, our first conversation about this. I know we talked a lot about Aldous Hodge and how much we missed him. And for me, even though I missed him, I missed him less, if that makes sense. Maybe it's just you got used to him being gone, but it wasn't this big, oh, I wish I wish Hardison was there or how Hardison would do this. It's like I felt like I felt more invested in the team as it was. And I knew that he was still a part of the team, but it was like I just didn't miss him as much, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It does. I can see where you're going with that. I will agree. He wasn't as missed, or maybe it was getting used to the new team. That what is his sister's name? Brianna?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, getting used to the new team with Brianna. She felt like she was more part of the team this time around than the first one, and it could just be, the feelings of loss. But yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah, and I felt like it too. Like, and I understood now, I guess because, and I guess in the moment I didn't realize it, but they did focus more on incorporating Brianna's character into the team. The first half of the series or the first half of the season was about her and how she was integrating into the team and more about her issues and the things that she'd done in the past. And then this B part was more about Noah Wiley's character. And I'm blanking on his name. Go figure, me blanking on a name. Why would that ever happen?
Never.
But yeah, it was more about incorporating him into the team. And I also tended to like the episodes. Like they had better episodes this time around. Or better cases to me, I guess. I
mean, they had some good ones. They had some that I could skip over. I actually skipped over one of them. So, yeah.
Which
hit
one
or miss. Hit or miss.
Which one did you skip?
The first one.
You skipped the first one? Mm-hmm. Which one was the first one?
Of trying to make the librarian as a hero, something like that.
Oh, that one actually turned out to be really good. With LeVar Burton?
Yeah, I'm just going to take your word for it because I ain't never going to watch it.
That was the one with LeVar Burton?
Mm-hmm.
I put that on the list as one of my favorite ones. At first, I was like, what is this? But it actually turned out to be really good. So I can go ahead and spoil it for you. He actually turned out to be a spy in hiding. He had stolen some when his last mission went really bad. And so they basically put out a red notice on him which, I'm learning all the spy lingo from all the spy movies I watch. Plus, I'm really excited for that movie. But they put out a red notice on him. I think he worked for the CIA, and so when they have been trying to get him to feel like a hero, they actually stumble into a case, and they somehow the people get alerted from his old case, the information that he'd had. They wanted it, so in the midst of that, of their little cosplay role play thing that they were doing with him, they actually stumble onto a real thing and realize that, oh, he's not just this little innocent librarian who loves spy novels. Like, no, he's actually a real life kick-ass spy, former spy. So it actually turned out to be really good.
Sounds cool.
You're still taking my word for it?
I am definitely still taking your word for it.
And
watching it.
It was our first one where also Hardison is the one, because going back to their promo log, you don't find them, they find you. I was wondering, I was like, how the hell did this kid know where to find them? Like, his assistant. And it turns out at the end, Hardison is the one who sent the kid to him. So that was really cool. So did you like, I remember that we had talked about, really, or I know one of my notes from the previous episode when we talked about this was, I could really take Noah Wiley's character or leave him. Did that change for you at all? Like,
absolutely not. He still didn't add anything. He still didn't bring any real skill to the team. He was just there for his redemption.
So if it does get renewed for a second go round, would you want him to be a part of the show?
I'm okay with him just doing that one season and then bringing somebody else in and redeeming them. I'm okay with that. I mean, I really don't care either way. Like, yeah, I really don't care either way, but I would be okay with them bringing in another like big TV star for like a year. Like, that could be a concept that they go through.
Since they really don't need a Nate character anymore.
Nope.
And yeah, okay, I get that. Like I said, I figured out this season, the second part of the season, more of what his purpose was. Like, it seemed better served. I understood his character a little bit more. And I actually liked him a little bit more. Yeah, like skirting around the law, I guess, since none of them ever really got caught or needed a lawyer, it just didn't seem like that part truly fit in. Like, I used to be this really bad lawyer, so I know how they work. Well, they've been doing this for what, 10, 15 years. They know how rich, bad people work too.
Yeah, so what do they really need from you? And then they would throw out like the lawyer lingo and everything like that. And I'm like, great, that shows his purpose. But at the same time, like, they did this for years without having a lawyer on their team. So, I mean, yeah, like I said, he was a take it or leave it kind of character, you know?
Yeah. But I did like that they explored more of his past and you got to see just really how truly bad he was. Like, he was a great lawyer, but the part where he said that he did whatever it took to win the case, but he never broke the law. So ethically, he had no ethics or morals when it came to that, but he never, quote unquote, broke the law. And that was really interesting to see how he justified all of the horrible shit that he'd done.
That's so many lawyers on TV nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, they like that's the whole thing. Or, I mean, it just kind of shows us how rich people get away with stuff that poor people don't. Because you hire lawyers who know the law so well that they know where the line is and they go right up to the line but never cross it.
Yeah, they know all those ethical, moral, and legal loopholes.
Yes.
And yeah, so like I said, I'm with you. I never thought about it. I mean, I did like seeing him, but I think as far as the team just needing a lawyer, like he didn't bring that certain set of just skills. Like, okay, he was able to get them into a country club. The last episode, because of his past and his connections, he was able to get that job. But it seems like they were kind of onto him from the beginning, and they were using him just as much to try to get to the team, just as much as he was quote unquote trying to use them. So it might be cool to have someone come in, another heavy hitter who has ties to deep criminal organizations, to help them. What did you think about the RGI, like their big bad for the season? I guess they were supposed to be like the insurance company that Nate ended up going against his former employer.
I thought like I thought it was an actual like they were a good villain for the show. Because it really played it up at the end when they thought like they had crossed all their T's and dotted all their I's, only to realize that the team was ahead of them, and the fact that they didn't really research well enough to know that there was a member of the team that was no longer on the team. And that
Yeah.
was their downfall, was not knowing all the members of the leverage team.
Yeah, like not knowing all the players. And I
Yeah.
loved it. And the last two episodes, which our boy Aldous Hodge, Hardison makes a comeback. I was so happy to see him. So happy. Um it kind of goes back to what I had said. Something I noted during the first part was that I would love to see longer arcs, like those longer arc episodes. So they work so well for me. So maybe if they did that, like if they broke the season still up in parts like they did this year, that would be great. But maybe if the first half dealt with one long game case, you know, different characters or something, that would be cool. And then maybe if the second half dealt with another long game case, that would be kind of cool. Because I did like the continuation of the story, the arcs, and I liked that RGI had always been there. Like they were someone that we were introduced to in the beginning of the season. So seeing them pop back up wasn't just this surprise, like they just been this anonymous group that just all of a sudden comes in and no one knows anything about them. So I did like that part of it, always being there. What about you? You think that would work for a possible?
Well, I said it the first time. I was like, I get it, but I also like the wrap up at the end of every episode. And then you move on to a whole nother case. Like I like that concept as well. It's nice at the end that well, they wrapped it up over multiple episodes because their villain was over multiple episodes. So I do like the fact that they have one big bad and then they have smaller bads throughout the season. But you know, at the same time, like I'm okay with you wrapping it up every single episode. Let's wrap it up with a nice, neat bow. That's
Okay, well, all right. Maybe they can incorporate both of our ideas. Have the A story be
well, they
something,
did. That's what the season was.
but I guess okay. I guess I'm saying I wanted to see more of them dealing with RGI. I guess I wanted it to be more of a long game than them just popping in kind of every episode, like something that's happening. So maybe give us one long, bigger mystery that kind of can take over as the B story that they're still working on. And then maybe have the A story be the central villain or case of that week, if that makes sense. Okay.
So like
I,
they're
I,
mentioned every episode.
Not
That's what you mean.
every episode necessarily, but maybe a clue or something, or have it tie in better. I don't know. Like, yeah. But just like have, yeah. What? I'm
You're like,
confusing you and myself in the process.
no. Like you're just like, yeah. Oh. I was like, okay. I don't
Look,
know if you fully know exactly what you're looking for.
I'm channeling my inner John Cook. I'm having that conversation with myself.
Okay.
I do know what I'm looking for. I just can't quite figure out how to say it. Like, I understand what you're saying, and I do like the idea, but maybe have the underlying B story be something about the overall bigger investigation, or find a way, or the bigger case, and or maybe find a way to tie it back, or just have more multi-arc episodes. Maybe I guess is what I'm getting at, because I really do like those. And I do like some of the ones where they tie it up with a nice, neat bow. Like the story about LeVar Burton. That was a good tie up in one nice, neat bow. Even though, it was great that he turned out to be a spy, that's not something I think would have translated or carried well over throughout the whole season. Now, one of my other favorite episodes was the one at the golf course about the human trafficking. That might have been a good one to kind of, spread breadcrumbs throughout the whole season. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no. I understand what you're saying. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
My favorite episodes were definitely the one where Noah Wiley played the doctor, because that was like the cutest thing ever. Because I was just like, ER, like that's the role that made him famous. So I got really, really excited when I saw him put on the doctor coat. I was just like, oh, the medical coat. I was like, oh. And I like the one with where Sophie played the younger version of like the Jackal.
Oh yes.
That one was really, really good. And then it also showed like how far their reputation goes, right? Where just their name alone, and people are like, oh, really? Because like when Parker was getting that guy on board, and he was just like, well, why should I do this? And she was just like, because I'm Parker. He was like, are you the Parker? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, all right, Parker, throwing out the name. So I love that one. And then I love the last one where Sophie was explaining exactly what was going on. And then the woman at RGI thought that, oh, we got it in the bag. We've thought of everything. And then then Sophie flipped it, right? And she was so calm throughout the whole entire thing, which should have given the woman a warning that there was going to be a twist. But
Yeah.
then it wouldn't have been a storyline.
It was so cool. Like I loved it. Like she caught her and it's like, okay. And she just sits there so calmly. She's just, and you're thinking, oh, it's going to be some big leverage thing. But nope. Elliot just walks in and swoops around. She goes, you really thought it was wise to give Elliot a whole minute in the dark?
Yeah. It's just like, come on. I said she underestimated every part of the team, as well as not knowing who all of the members were.
Yeah, because you have two world-class hackers, and Hardison being the best and Brianna not being a slouch herself.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, oh, you considered Brianna, but you never considered Hardison. Like you thought just because he was gone, he I'm sure they had done their research, but they thought, oh, he's gone, so he's forgotten. Like, do you really think Hardison gonna leave his woman? And that was so cute. When he went to say, oh, so we're good, she goes, no, I think Elliot's still mad at you.
Yeah. Like she was fine. She was good. She was like, yeah, but then you showed up. So now I'm good. Like I was mad at you before, but now that you're here, I'm okay. But Elliot needs a hug. Like Elliot needed a hug. Elliot needed you to talk to him because he was without his best friend for a very long time. He missed you.
And Elliot was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. And he was
But
like, so,
knowing that he really missed him.
yeah. And but I loved also the other part of that I loved is when she was talking about the robot bodies.
Oh my god.
And she was like, he's like, I don't want a robot body. She's like, it's okay because we measured your head
While you were sleeping.
And then he looked at Hardison like, you really believe this? And Hardison said, yeah, because and he just looked down like, dude, come on now, please, just play along, like, please.
Yeah.
Because at first I'm like,
and I love that. But he was just like,
at first,
you know how Parker is. You know how Parker is. Come on.
Yeah, like at first I was like, okay, the robot bodies and Ellie and Hardison being a science geek and stuff. I'm like, he really cannot. And I'm thinking, does he? Because Hardison has some weird thinking too. But then, but the way he looked and the way he was talking about, like, yeah, and then when he looked at him, he's just like, come on, dog, like, come on, please, please. And so Elliot got it, and I was just like, oh, that's so cute. I was like, so that's totally Parker.
Definitely Parker.
But yeah, and I forgot, like, I think there was one episode where I forgot how lethal Parker was when she first joined the team. Like, she didn't care about killing people. Like, she,
Anything.
anything. Like, was she a sociopath, psychopath, or a little bit of
She was.
both?
She was a sociopath.
She was a sociopath. Okay.
She had no feelings or emotions towards humans.
And so it's just like, okay. And, but yeah. And then when Hardison was like, babe, are you sure this is safe? Babe, you need to check this. And then she just pushes him out the window.
Made him go down.
I was just like, oh, they're so cute. I love them. Like, Parker and Hardison have got to be one of my all-time favorite TV couples.
They do. Like when every once in a while they do like best TV couples of all time. Like the next list, I need to see Hardison and Parker on that list because they are amazing together. Like they just work. They work perfectly together. And then like Elliot, like I was a little sad about the fact that he lost his girl. I was a little sad about that.
I was too. And she was just like, I know. And I get it. They were cute together. They really were. And it's like, aside from this one thing, they were the perfect couple because she had a little bit of badass in her. She wasn't scared of him. She called him out on his crap, you know. Um, and they just seemed like they got along so well. And then she was just like, you're a great guy, but at the end of the day, you're still a criminal. And it was just like,
I feel like
oh,
she gonna show up though. If they do a second season, I think she coming back.
yeah. You didn't feel like that was quite the end of it either?
No, no,
No, okay.
she'll be back. She'll be back.
Because, like, Elliot's had women before, they've been the one and done, or maybe somebody that wasn't necessarily, that was maybe mentioned but not seen on screen.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one, especially considering the way they met and how it's kind of antagonistic, but you still picked up on the chemistry and the sparks. And it was just like, oh, and then when they mentioned them being together, and it's like, okay. And I'm glad we saw her again and actually got to see what their relationship was like instead of just hearing about it. And then she kind of thought that, she thought he was a spy, and that she kept trying to figure out which agency he worked for until he couldn't get that information he needed from her.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I did like that. Now I did like this. I did like the chemistry between Sophie and Noah Wiley's character, and I need to figure out his name and just stop calling him Noah Wiley's character. But
Mr. Wilson?
Mr. Wilson, yes, thank you. I thought I picked up on a little bit of chemistry there. What about you? Did you
Forced chemistry.
you thought it was forced?
Like we're supposed to want them to be together. We're supposed to feel the connection that is slowly growing over time. And I'm not falling for it.
I can't disagree with that 100%. My thing was, okay, I said this. If it continues and if he comes back, I could see them possibly being in game, but something would have to change. Like right now, it's like it's that wounded bird lonely type of chemistry where I could see them both. I could see them being the stepping stone relationship, that relationship that gets you back into the game, that helps you heal your heart. Does that
But
make
not
sense?
long lasting.
Yeah, but not long lasting, not that end game. I see them as better off as friends. And I also like the fact that, quote unquote, Sophie had another adult in the room to talk to, because it always seemed like the rest of the team were her and Nate's kids, even though they're all full grown adults, if that makes sense. Like she's always been kind of like the mom of the group.
Yeah, they raise them.
Yeah. So it was nice seeing her have another quote unquote adult to talk to. But as far as them just necessarily being in game, unless something just drastically changes, or like I saw the chemistry, I understood it, but I was just like, I don't necessarily think that this is where I don't necessarily see it heading where they're trying to plant the seeds for it to head. So I agree with you on that. What was another one of your favorite episodes?
It was just those two.
Just those two?
Yep.
You didn't like the one with the storm?
Nope.
I thought the premise was kind of stupid about the lottery ticket, but I actually did like it because that's the one where we got to see more of Elliot's relationship with his girlfriend. And it was just him and Parker. So we got to kind of focus on their skill set a little bit. So I did like that one. The one with where Sophie played the Jackal, or a younger version of the Jackal, I absolutely love that one. That was probably my one of my favorites until the last two. For throughout the whole season, it was so good. Like just from top to bottom, it was so well written, and they all did a great job in that one. Although you really didn't see much of a whole lot of the other team, but I did like it. I like the goth one too, with the immigrants and the human trafficking one. I thought that was a good one, and I guess I liked it. I was kind of nostalgic because James Marsters was in it. He played the bad guy for that episode.
Oh, he did. I remember when we mentioned the fact that he signed on to be in Leverage Redemption, and we were trying to think like what was going to be his character. We were thinking like at the time, like was he going to be like the big bad of the season, and he was only there for one episode. But I loved it. Like I love him. Spike, oh god, I love it. But yeah, like just those two episodes really like I really love those episodes. Not to say that the other ones weren't good. They weren't my favorites.
You didn't like the farming one?
The what?
The farming one about the two guys in the
No.
farm?
No, I'm not saying I didn't like them, but you asked me like what were some other ones that were like my favorites. They were not my favorites. They were good. Like they fit the plan of what Leverage is. So I definitely they served their purpose, but they weren't my favorites.
Oh, okay. I get that. I really did like that one. Like those were my favorites for the season. Like once I thought about it, at first I was just like, ooh. And I caught this, excuse me, the OG Grifter episode, but where she was helping the Jackal, and I was like, that was my number one. And then I just kind of combined the last two, of course, because Harrison came back. And the case was so good, especially the way that they wrapped it up. Like I watched that one multiple times just because I love, like that was vintage. That was truly vintage leverage to me. It was like, oh, and I guess that's part of the fun of the show for me is you know that they're going to get out of it, but sometimes just seeing how they get out of it is the fun. Like, what did they do? What ridiculous thing are they going to do to get out of it?
I
Was
agree with you
amazing,
on that.
huh?
I said I agree with you on that.
Yeah, and just the way they pulled that one off was so smooth because you thought, oh wow, they may not get everything they want, like they may get out of it, but are they going to get the server? And not only did they get the server, but they also took RGI down. Like the way they made everyone know that this company was responsible for blacking out a whole city and causing like a boat um, a an explosion on an oil rig. That was pretty cool. Um, and can I just say that Noah Wiley's ex-wife, Mr. Wilson's ex-wife in the show, she had the worst taste in men. Like you left him because you said he was a bad person. He brings you proof that your new husband is bad, and it's like you're going to stay because he treats you well.
Well, Mr. Wilson was a horrible husband and he was a horrible father. Her husband is not those things.
He's just a bad person, but a good husband and a good
Yeah.
father.
And that's ultimately the decision that she made because of that. On that he's not on the same level as Mr. Wilson, because Mr. Wilson was never at home. He was just horrible husband, father, person. Her husband, he ends up being a horrible person professionally, but personally in life, like he was good. Like he took care of his family. And so that's how she justified staying with him. And I actually understood it. I understood it.
I didn't. I guess that's my optimism, my romanticism. I was just like, oh, okay, but yeah. He poisoned. He's responsible for poisoning all these people, and his company is responsible for killing all these people. But because he comes home every night, he's a good person. So,
Well, it wasn't that he was a good person. It was that at the end of the day, he took care of his family. It's like mobsters. Mobsters aren't good people. You know, criminals aren't kingpins aren't good people because they sell drugs and everything like that. But at the end of the day, you know, there's some that really do love their family, to take care of their family. They raise their kids. They encourage them to go to college and not be like, so we can say they're horrible people, but that's not a reflection on, how they're taking care of their family, kind of thing.
why do I feel like that's a dig on Sonny Corinthos? Oh, why are you cutting into my General Hospital heart?
Sonny Corinthos and Jason and Jason.
Oh yeah, and Jason. Why are you cutting into my General
You can
Hospital
take
heart,
that. You
man?
can take that as a dig. You can take that as a dig.
Why you bringing General Hospital into this, man? Why you cutting me where it hurts? You know that's my peace of mind. You know that's that keeps me sane every day.
Peace of mind as you watch a show about gangsters.
Hey. General Hospital slander ranks up there with yes,
All
Jason
the other
Statham
slander.
slander. Hey. There's two types of slander I don't tolerate: General Hospital slander and Jason Statham slander. Everything else we can negotiate. Those two non-negotiables.
Really? So I could talk about V.
Oh hell no!
See. You got a lot of people on your slander list.
Okay, those top three. See, V is just like unmentionable. Although you do need to watch In the Suit. Okay, we're going off the rails.
Very much so.
All right. So anything that you hope. Okay, so we already spoiled it and said that we hope that it is renewed, or at least I'm assuming you hope that it's renewed for a second season. Would you like to see it come back?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And because Aldous Hodge, I forgot he was going to be in Black Adam, so his career is really taking off. Plus, he has the show on Showtime, The Hill. So I think I'm resigned that he will probably just pop in, and I'm okay with that. Brianna, I love that they gave her her own identity separate from Hardison. I love that there's that connection, that he may be gone, but he's not ever truly forgotten from the show. And I hope that as long as the show keeps running, that he's able to keep doing those pop-ins for one or two episodes or what have you. Just I, I just love Aldous Hodge, and I just love the character of Hardison. So, would you be okay with that,
Yeah, I'd be
or
fine
do
with
you
that.
think they just need to let it go and he just?
No, it shows dedication to the fans who love the show and what really, put him on the map. So I'm okay with him slipping in every once in a while when he can fit it into his schedule. I mean, continue to grow his star. Like, he's doing big things.
Big things. Is Black Adam on our list?
Black Adam.
With him and Dwayne Johnson, it's like a
That's
seduce.
not coming out until like 24, right?
Oh shit! They wrapped it. I got excited because I watched the DC Con thing,
Yeah,
and it
I
showed all the
know.
stuff, and then I saw him, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Are you
it doesn't
saying we're
come
not
out.
going to
It
be
doesn't come out
around in
until after the
24?
Flash movie, huh?
Are you saying we're not going to be around in 24?
I am saying I will wait to see how it goes. DC is always a disappointment, so.
Um, no, I'm joking. Okay, well, how would you rate the second part of Leverage?
I'm gonna give it the same rating as the first, so I am giving it a 3.75. Once again, nostalgia and it just being really good. I love the flow of the storylines. The characters, once again, are just so beloved. I definitely enjoyed them, and I opened up my heart more to Brianna. Mr. Wilson, I mean, he was just there to cover space, but he still played his role very well. Noah Wiley, and he's from ER, so I'll always love him as well. So yeah, 3.75 popcorns. It's not a full bucket, but it's good enough to get through a 2-hour movie. What about you, Eddie?
I'm with you. I'm gonna repeat the rating, which I believe was 3.75 for myself as well. Um, again, the nostalgia. I did have a better understanding and liking of Brianna this time around. Um, and I understood her character more. She seemed less annoying. And I guess that's because she kind of found her place. Like before, she was like that younger sister trying to, step out of her brother's shadow. And in this part of this season, it actually seemed like she'd done that. Like she found her place and became her own person and her own character. So I appreciate that. Mr. Wilson is still a work in progress. I love Noah Wiley. So I would love to see him come back. I got a better understanding, but they would have to give his character more to do.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
he would have to gain some sort of skill, I guess, to be on the leverage team. Maybe he's the one who goes out, kind of like the Nate, not to replace Nate because that character's, but maybe he would be the one through his legal practice or whatever that would bring them the cases, or train in some other way, like get a skill that would make him more valuable and useful to the team. But I do love Noah Wiley, so I would hope to see him return, or maybe, like you said, find a new character each season or half a season that needed redemption. I think is a cool idea. Well, um, so we both hope it gets renewed. I guess our overall season rating for the show would be a 3.75 from both of us, and
Yes.
hope to see big things from it. And I guess that does it for this week's episode of the Popcorn Wind Down. I don't know what's wrong with me. Sorry. Please be sure to Please be sure to listen, like, follow, and comment on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and or Spotify Podcasts. You can also keep up with all the latest in entertainment pop culture news, as well as other amazing kernels of pop culture goodness at thepopcornwinddown.com. That's it. That's the plug. Pop, 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 pop.
Pop, 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 pop.
Oh, thank you. You joined in. We're still working on that sound effect, as you can see. And that does it for this week's episode. Be sure to tune in and join us next week when we talk about the new reboot of the Wonder Years show. I'm actually really excited about that. I'm excited to see what you think. Have you watched any of it yet?
Nope. So we shall
Let's
see
see.
what I think about the black version of the Wonder Years, which
I
I
am,
was a huge fan of um the original Wonder Years. So I am actually excited as well to see if it gives me those nostalgic feelings that I had as a child watching it.
yeah, and if it was able to carve out its own identity besides just people referring to it as the Black Wonder Year. So that should be a really interesting conversation. I look forward to having it. And until next time, thank you as always for joining us. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy. Bye.
Peace.